Excuse me.
I think you do that every single time.
Right before we go?
Yeah.
Dora said something about she can tell your voice from your burps.
All right, I'm going to hit go.
We all go. What's going on?
I pressed the button. We're live.
Oh.
This is the Chris Break Show. We are live on RadioFubar.com.
Chris Break Show!
Oh, that was loud. Oops. I'm just going to keep going on this one. Getting out of control. Oops, wasn't expecting that one. Alright, one more time. We can actually get this going. Ooh. That was a pretty long, loud, extended one.
It was a good jam session.
Yay.
We are the Chris Break Show. I'm sitting here with my good friend John Rapp and our go-host Spitfire Sarah.
Back in action.
Back in action.
Back in black.
And
Back
also-
in my PJs, actually.
And the tambourine. Rocking the tambourine.
John on the hi-hat there. I don't know if we can, because it seems like, because we made a big deal last time. It was like Spitfire Sarah returns. And I almost get the vibe that we'd have to do that every time you come back, because it seems like you're always gone for a while.
Oh, man. I can't help it. It's not my fault.
That's okay.
This really wasn't my fault. Well, actually, no. The other time wasn't my fault either.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. We're done.
In case this is your first time listening, Spitfire Sarah has not been here for
A month.
a month.
Yeah.
A month. And there was, the first time it was because you needed some, or what was it? You, how do I phrase it? No,
It was school. It was school and like a really bad breakup.
no.
What?
Yeah, that was the first time you went on hiatus. But this time you actually scheduled time off.
Yes.
So you could spend time with your fiancé.
Yes.
Or should I just say boyfriend? I'll say significant other, because we don't want people to think that you're taken.
Why?
Because it loses the appeal. Like, what's that? Oh, you're left. Oh, there's no ring on that finger. Oh, that's what. So it's not a fiance. So she really is single. But you know, with the Beatles, they made a point to make John Lennon, who was a married man, appear single.
Oh.
Yeah, and they wouldn't tell anyone.
It's good for the marketing.
Even though everybody knew Yoko Ono, like.
Yoko Ono didn't come around till
like before.
till
Okay.
after the Beatles had stopped touring.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, he was married to Cynthia. Was that her name? Linda. Cynthia. The blonde. He was married and had a kid before the Beatles even got famous.
Holy cow! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, that's some
How old
history.
were they? How old were they when they got famous?
I don't know, young.
Yeah, they were young kids, right? Like maybe 20 or something.
Any
Yeah.
kid?
I think I should know the
I
answer
mean,
to
not,
that.
that's not anything bad.
Well, John,
He was like a street kid or something, wasn't he? Like kind of rough upbringing.
Cockney. Yeah, those guys, the Beatles, they were rough kids. They were from a really, really poor, low-income, kind of shitty neighborhood.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like the slums, if you will.
We were talking about doing a whole episode on the Beatles sometime. I would actually enjoy that because I don't know a whole lot about them, and I bet you that we would probably learn a lot from Chris.
Yeah, it sounds like Chris could do the whole episode.
It'd just be him saying facts, and we go, "Oh, I didn't know that." Oh yeah. But it would be interesting.
It would be.
I'm kind of obsessed with the Beatles. I'm a big
Right.
Beatles fan. And then once you get over the Beatles, then you got to go even deeper and just get into 60s music
Holy
altogether.
cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I like 60s music.
But yeah, I'm talking deep. Like
Deep.
shit that you didn't know
Whoa.
existed.
Up to your neck.
Yeah, like,
farther.
There were a whole bunch of bands.
Grounding.
Yes.
You know, okay. Before we move on, there is one thing that I do want to do with the Beatles. Not even on the show, but just in my personal life. John made me watch this. Okay, hold on. Let me explain this. Okay, so the Beatles, there are a lot of bands that sounded just like the Beatles. Like, they influenced a lot of sound. So back then, there were all these bands that sounded identical. And I'm sure you've heard of, you know, like some of them. Like, you know, probably 5 of them. You could probably name 5 of them, like the Turtles or something like that.
Okay, sure.
But there were hundreds of them, like these one-hit wonders who just tried to, you know, their whole, you know, they were created by the record labels. But John showed me this documentary called, John, what was the name of that crazy conspiracy?
The Winged Beetle.
The Winged Beetle.
It's also called the Rotten Apple, if you look that up.
Yeah, it's some weird, this crazy Beatles conspiracy stuff. And it does cover the Paul is dead situation. But what that documentary introduced me to is all these other pop songs that were on the radio during the Paul is dead conspiracy. And I want to get all my hands on these songs. I'm out of breath.
All of your hands.
All of my hands on these songs. Because, I mean, there were songs that were mourning the loss of Paul McCartney.
Oh, right. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a whole series of these songs that people had recorded all about the Beatles and Paul being dead and
Oh, wow.
weird shit.
That's so funny because back then you can't like get on the internet and find out, oh, it's just a hoax.
Right.
Like it would have just like gone and gone and gone.
Well,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that don't believe it's a hoax.
Yeah.
Dude, he gives concerts like
Well, they think he's
He was
he's
He's a
replaced.
replacement?
Yeah.
False Paul.
what?
Yeah.
He looks exactly.
No, apparently he doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, according to some people, but it also falls under the whole Steve, Mike, Andrew WK conspiracy where he doesn't look the same. Like, he lost a lot of body mass. If I had to guess, I'd say Andrew WK stopped working out, probably stopped taking steroids, and started smoking weed. and then it just changed his whole face, you know?
Did you see? He's like Party Hard is on a commercial now, and it was like it was the like.
It's always been on commercial.
No, it's on some. Oh man, it's for like Android or something. And I was
Really?
sitting there at my neighbor's house and we were watching, and it came on, and the most like euphoric nostalgia came over me. Like it was the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great.
You forgot how great Andrew WK was.
Yes,
Yeah, that
but it
happens
was
from time to
great.
time.
It was great to not have him there for a while, and then
Yeah.
you know.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absolutely.
You missed
great.
our conversation with Andrew WK.
I
You weren't-
listened to
Yeah,
it,
but you
however.
didn't get to get in on it.
I didn't get to get on.
I could have used you that day. John called in sick.
Yeah, I
that
missed it.
was rough.
It was all you. It was meant to be. Some other dude.
Rick.
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 Our man Rick.
Rick.
All right, so I got a couple apologies to make before we get into this. First apology is I apologize that last show I forgot to plug the internet cord into my computer. So I was running off Wi-Fi on my machine, which means the show was running off Wi-Fi and it was cutting in and out.
Oh no.
So if you ever hear that happening, that means I forgot to plug the Ethernet cord into the machine and we were running off Wi-Fi. So if anybody's listening and that ever happens in the future, if it starts to cut in and out, it's not you, it's us. Let us know somehow.
Contact us.
Yeah, contact us at that moment because sometimes I'm an idiot and I forget things like that. That's just what happens.
We need another alarm.
I need notes. I have notes written all over the place here. You know?
I think we're in the process of slowly getting a really good organization system down, but we're still working on it.
Oh, yeah. John's got the Google Drive working. He's got a whole file system. We're getting professional. We have meetings once a week.
Shut up.
Yeah. Do you want to come to a meeting, Sarah? You barely come to the show, but you're
When
welcome
are
to come
your
to a meeting.
meetings? When are your meetings?
They're on Mondays.
Mondays.
Sometimes they're on Wednesdays.
What time? Like I can't do this late stuff.
Usually like 10.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. But we could do it
I
earlier.
We could do it earlier, but what's the point, really?
What if you just like I FaceTimed in or something?
Well, that's an option.
At 10 p.m. you can FaceTime in?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, so Sarah
Do
wasn't.
it from the bed. FaceTime from the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
that sounds good to me.
In the dark, it'll just be a black screen.
It happens sometimes. Yeah, that was the other thing that happened when you were off this 4 months or 4 weeks. Feels like 4 months.
Okay.
When you were off this 4 weeks, right before the show, one of them, you're like, oh, I'm so busy. I can't come. And you're supposed to be here at 7:30. At like 7:19, I see you posting all these like Throwback Thursday pictures on Facebook. I'm like a boss. I'm looking at him like, oh, that fucking jerk.
What?
That jerk.
Because I had them on my phone.
So you can post boss photos, but you can't do the show?
That's no excuse.
What are boss photos?
I thought Chris said that you were posting photos about, I'm a boss.
No, I'm the boss. You know how they always say Facebook can get you in trouble at work? If you call in sick and then you're out having fun.
You got to hide your tracks.
Yeah. So I'm like, I see this pop up and it's like, oh, Throwback Thursday, and you're all having fun on Facebook. It's like, she should be at the show. And then it's like, oh, I'm so glad I ran into Jay Elliott of Stereo Deluxe. I had a great time tonight. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Hanging out with Jay Elliott?
No,
Ditching us for Jay Elliott.
I went tanning and he saw me and he invited me over. Otherwise I was gonna go. I had just gotten off work.
You had a date with Jay Elliott.
I did not have a date.
This is the inside scoop.
Jay Elliott's a local musician.
Jay Elliott tans?
No,
Wow.
no.
Please say he does. Please say
that's
he
a
does.
fake tan.
No,
Please say
he
he
was
does.
at the pub right next to the tanning thing and he saw me and said, hey.
Oh, he
True
said,
story.
hey.
He said, hey, I'm playing next door. Come on over. And I said, okay.
Oh, okay.
You tell him
Well,
about the
that's
show?
What?
Did you tell him about the show?
I did not tell him.
You
Because
need to. We'll give you some business cards.
Okay. All right. I'll do the business cards.
Yeah, we got some business cards right here.
Tell him to pop on in the show sometime.
All right.
Here you go. You got your own stack of business cards right here. Spitfire Sarah.
Cool stuff.
They even have your picture on them and everything.
Dang. That's pretty cool.
Another
Wait a minute.
apology.
This might be false advertising here.
So what happened? What?
5 minutes in Cape Side?
We still do that.
Okay.
Every once in a while.
Okay.
Haven't in a while, but we're working on some.
If we had one right now, I would do it. Yeah, we're working on something.
Okay.
Excuse me. We got a Christopher Walken guy. Do we still have that? That's pretty good.
Yeah, he did the Christopher Walken impression on the show. He read the Dawson's Creek script like it sounded like George Walken. That was pretty funny.
Do you have that?
I don't have it within my fingertips. Like maybe I could pull it up. But in the meantime, we also need to apologize to Dave.
No, I'd like to just shoot right into that Christopher Walken that we haven't.
Well, I was going to say that was a give me time to find it type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, second apology here. I need to apologize to a guy on WordPress named Dave's Research. He was actually the first guy we spoke to, right? In the gang stalking episode?
Yes.
Yeah, this guy fell into a wrong place, wrong time situation
Man,
on our
did
website.
he ever.
Yeah, he's on chrisbreakshow.com and he was commenting on something, or there was I don't know. Some guy reblogged our episode for gang stalking. It was like, great job, you guys are doing great to spread the word. And then John goes to his website, and it's all this anti-Semitic, like, white power type shit.
What?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So John's like, we don't support that agenda. You know, like, I don't, what's the story here? And the guy's like, no, he's like, we don't hate Jews. We just hate Jews that do this and this. You know, and he just started, one of those people who says,
Right.
there's the difference between a black person and an N-word. Like one of those type debates, It's
Right,
like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Don't
walk that line.
Yeah, don't share our shit. Stay the hell away from us.
Yeah.
We don't want to be associated with this. And as we're John's in the process of explaining this to the guy, then this other guy came on to the same thread and started it sounded like he was defending him, but basically he didn't realize that he just jumped into the middle of something.
Yeah, he hit reply, and he didn't mean to do that. He was like, he eventually said he didn't mean to hit reply, but he hit reply on this whole thread we were having with this Nazi guy or whatever.
Right.
And so we obviously thought he was, chiming in because he was in the thread,
Yeah, you can read all that on chrisbreakshow.com under the gang stalking episode. Is it 55?
Yeah, episode
I'm
55.
going to have to go back and look at all that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But so then this Dave's Research guy jumps in, and then he basically takes over the argument, but he doesn't even realize what he's arguing for. Sometimes when you're arguing with somebody, the momentum gets going,
Right.
and then you forget even what you're saying, or
Yeah.
then it's just an argument that you want to win, even though you both have probably flipped sides and you both agree with each other, but you're still arguing over
Right.
one thing that doesn't even matter. That's kind of what happened with this guy, and eventually I told him to leave our page, stop subscribing, stop doing this, blah 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 blah.
Drama.
Yeah, I was like, we don't stand for what you stand for,
Yeah.
and then I think that shook him up. Which I didn't feel bad at the time. I still don't feel bad because it was just a miscommunication thing.
Right.
But then he was like, "Oh man, I thought our interview went really good," and I was like, "Interview?"
Interview?
It was like, who is this guy?
Oh, and then it was the guy.
Yeah, the guy from our episode. He just we didn't realize it was him, and we didn't realize that he didn't realize that he was coming. Yeah, so he got mixed up in the racial tension.
It goes
hilarious.
I mean, it goes on and on. The conversation just goes on and on. It's bad. But it gets to the point where he said, "Do not listen to the show. Do not reblog. We're fine without you. Stay away." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I did."
He said, "Hammer came down on you guys, huh? What did they threaten to pull support? Like he thought that someone made us,
He thought that
some entity came
the system. He thought the system put the hammer down on us.
Oh, nice.
They were causing us to accuse him of things he didn't do, and so basically it shows that if you're paranoid, that anything like that can apply.
Right.
Like nothing happened. There was no system.
Mm-hmm.
There was no hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you're full of fucking rage,
Right.
which he wasn't. But it's like you got fucking hate in your heart, and we don't subscribe
Right.
to what you're offering.
But he didn't even mean to be defending them. It was just some off-topic thing. He finally said, he was like, "Oh, I see. You were replying to CJ, blah, 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 blah." And they apologized. And then we apologized, too. We were like, "Whoa, that's crazy. We didn't mean to do that to you, Dave." So, sorry, Dave. It's a big apology. Just a misunderstanding.
It was like a war there.
Yeah, it was intense for a few days, man. It
Few
really
days?
was. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was like we had, Nazis attacking us.
You got to watch out on that internet stuff, man.
Yeah.
You really do.
The interwebs.
Yeah, they'll get you.
Every time.
I did find the Christopher Walken, but it's just the full episode. I don't just have that isolated clip.
Oh. Well, son of a gun. I've got it.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you should definitely play that. And tonight we're also talking to Paul Mariano. He is a director of a film called Being George Clooney. It's a documentary about these people. They think it looks like they got some kind of schizophrenia. They almost look like they think that they are George Clooney, like they have a power trip and they're famous in their country for that.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I mean, that sounds cool.
I don't think I can do what I'm trying to do. I feel like when I tried to do it,
the walk-in clip.
Yeah, I feel like it cut off my recording here of our show.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, I caught it real quick. But
if you're listening to this and you want to hear that, it's episode 28.
What else we got? We got something to do here.
We got to call Paul.
Better call Paul.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Paul Mariano.
I'm looking forward to this. Somebody help me out with this, too, because I honestly didn't do too much. Although he did direct a really good film that's on Netflix.
Yeah, well, what do you know about that? He's had quite a few films that he's
Hello?
directed. Paul.
Yes.
How you doing, sir? You were on the Chris Break Show.
How you doing? I'm fine.
All right, I'm glad you're here, man.
I'm glad to be here.
Mr. Mariano. Is it pronounced Mariano?
It is indeed, but please call me Paul. Mr. Mariano is my father.
All right, I can handle that. I can swing with that. So you got this movie coming out in 2015 that looks really good on the trailer.
Well, thank you very much. I think it's going to be really good.
It's like what made you become involved with wanting to find, these people's stories? Like, these guys are unknowns, but I guess they're popular somewhere else. They just, they're the voice of George Clooney in different countries.
They are indeed. I was, if you've read my website, you know that I was a criminal defense attorney for 30 years before I retired in 2004.
Right.
Then I started doing documentary film work because my business partner and I, Kurt Norton, were always involved in and interested in movies. The first movie we made was we had a gubernatorial recall election here in California back in 2006. And I ran for governor. I was one of the 130 that ran and stuff. Oh. So we did a film about my run for governor because I also ran and stuff.
That's what it's called, right? Also ran?
That's what it's called, also ran and stuff. And it's a humorous, kind of quirky look at state of politics in California. And our last film was called These Amazing Shadows, and it's about why we as individuals and as a culture and as a country love the movies, the impact it has upon us. So Kurt and I have always been fascinated and interested in film and movies. And so I read an article a couple of years ago about audio dubbing and about audio dubbers and about the financial impact it had. and not realizing that American films that go abroad make billions. That's billions with a B. Billions of dollars. Yeah, billions of dollars around the world. And so we thought about who are these people who work in the dark and provide their voices to these famous American actors, facers that we know so well, and why did they get involved in it and stuff. So we were looking for a central character, a central voice, so to speak, a person that everybody knows and everybody loves. And we went through a number of male and female stars, and we came up with, I think, the perfect person, the natural person, the obvious person, George Clooney.
That's a great name, too, Being George Clooney. That's a good
well, that's
name.
what the movie's about. It's about what's it like for these people being George Clooney. What does it mean to them? How did they get the role? How did they get the job? How does it impact them?
Yeah, I want to ask you that. How did you actually meet with these people?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, we've been to Brazil. We've been to India. We've been to Turkey, France, Germany, Italy. We've met all the George Clooneys. We found out, there's a myriad. Some of them are actors in their own right. One studied to be a lawyer. One writes children's books. One, the Brazilian George Clooney, is an ER doctor in a major Rio de Janeiro hospital.
That's amazing.
And it was too good to pass up. Here's a guy who started his career on a TV show called ER, and we got a guy who's providing his voice in Brazil who's an ER doctor. So it was just too good to let go.
How do these guys handle it? Like, do they get big heads?
No, I don't think so. The reality, and one of the things we found out when we were doing our interviewing and our investigation, and one of the things we'll deal with in the movie, is how little respect they get from the industry itself. It varies from country to country. Again, remembering that Hollywood studios are making, again, billions of dollars, but that money is not trickling down to the audio dubbers or to the directors. It's basically staying in America at those studios. These guys oftentimes, most times, don't even get listed in the credits. So when you're sitting there in a Turkish or Italian theater, you don't see who the voice of George Clooney or Sandra Bullock or Julia Roberts might be. It's not even listed. There's a couple of great stories that they tell that will be included in the film about maybe they got invited to the premiere of the film, the Hollywood film they were in. Most likely they did not. But even when they did, they got kind of shuffled off to the other side of the red rope. So they're not given a great deal of respect in the countries for doing what it is that they do, which is provide the voice of these American films, which is very important.
Do people prefer to watch them dubbed, or do they prefer subtitles?
It depends upon the country. It varies from country to country. And what we found through speaking with these individuals and doing some research is the less educated the audience, the more that they want the film to be dubbed. The more educated they are, the more likely it is that they speak English and they want to watch the original version in whatever tongue it's in this case, English and stuff. So, but there's still an incredible market for dubbed films. And again, in all of these countries, and in so many countries that we didn't make it to, in China and Japan, South America, etc. So it depends upon the audience and the country, but it's still a huge market.
I take offense to that because I'm definitely one of those people who I can't, like, I got like Sarah here, our go-host. She watches all the anime all the time, and I have to do the dubs. Like I can't do the subtitles. But then when you start to watch some of those, you realize that everything changes when you go from the dub to the subtitles. It's like it almost becomes a completely different show. Like, do these people do that? Like, how faithful are they to the, I guess to the film when they do
the script?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it, again, varies from country to country and which person you're talking to. What happens is when an American film goes abroad, the first thing they do is they translate it, just literally translate it into the language. And then the second thing they do is what they call adapt it for that particular country. There's a lot of American slang phrases or idioms or jokes that would mean nothing into an Italian or Turkish or Indian audience. So they change it in order to make it more relevant and more understandable. The other thing they'll do is sometimes they'll censor it a little bit. For example, if you go to a country like India or Turkey, the mores might be a little bit different than they are in Italy or France. So when you use certain words, certain phrases, talk about certain ideas, they may not go over so well in a country like Turkey or India. Mm-hmm. So they'll modify those. They'll adapt them, so to speak. Now, if you talk to the translators and the adapters and the dubbing directors, they will say that what we try to do is be as honest and true to the original vision of the original directors we possibly can. However, if you go behind the scenes and talk to the actors, they'll say, oh, no, we change the words all the time. Because one of the most important things to us is lip syncing. We look at the person's lips, and that lip sync is important because, if you've seen some of the old, maybe Chinese dubs, the person has, stopped talking, the lips have stopped.
And they keep going.
The classic Godzilla.
Absolutely. And so they work real hard. They're very talented individuals, and they work real hard to make sure that doesn't happen, that you don't get that classic Godzilla look where the mouth is moving, but there are no words, or the mouth has stopped moving and the words keep coming and coming and coming.
What is the story on the guy in the trailer? You showed a gentleman who got replaced. Like, why would someone get replaced?
Well, that's a great story that we're going to deal with, and that happened in Germany. And a gentleman named Detlef Bierstedt was the voice of George Clooney in Italy. He started off doing ER, and he started doing his earlier films. Wow. And then Steven Sodeberg came along and made Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, Ocean's ad infinitum. And for whatever reason, Steven Soderbergh said he wanted a different voice for George Clooney. And so he had a casting call, and he eventually hired Martin Umbach, who became then the voice of George Clooney. And it created this incredible uproar in the country. And so people went online, they got on Facebook, they got their emails out, and they started taking sides. They loved him or they hated him. But there was this huge debate as to who was the better George Clooney, who should be the voice of George Clooney. It would be like, for example, pick your favorite actor in the United States. I don't care who it is. Woody Allen, Clint Eastwood, Robert De Niro. And you go to one of their movies and all of a sudden somebody else's voice is coming out of their face on the screen. And imagine how disoriented and discombobulated you would feel it would be. Right. So that's what happened in Germany. And so we dealt with that. And then eventually they went back to producers and directors, went back to Detlef Bierstedt. But it was an interesting period in which there was this battle that went on. People get very comfortable with certain voice, and they kind of tinkered with that.
I can't believe that they do that, because I get thrown off even just the voice. That would blow my mind apart, because I get thrown off when I'm watching like the Batman, and they go from Joey Potter to Donnie Darko's sister, and like that infuriates me. What are you going to say, Sarah?
Oh, I was just going to say, people get so attached to a character and the voice. So right. Obviously, if you would change it, people would go crazy. I'd love to see that. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
Yeah.
So Steven Soderbergh actually had his hands on that part of the process? Is that normal for directors to actually, direct the voice talent?
No, actually, it's not. There's very few. Steven Spielberg is one. Steven Soderbergh is another. Quentin Tarantino is one. That become very involved in the dubbing director, who that's going to be, the voices that are chosen. But the vast majority of American films that go abroad, they're just left to the local studios to decide. You choose. Normally, there's what they call a designated voice. And that designated voice is like the Detlef Bierstedt. Someone who's been playing that person for years and years in all of their films. Like, for example, Samuel Labarthe is the French voice of George Clooney, and he's done all 16 of his movies. And so when people in Paris or wherever in France go to the films, they expect to hear Samuel Labarthe's voice. And if they don't, they're going to get uncomfortable with it, and they're going to get angry about it probably.
That's crazy.
Well, I got to tell you one great story and stuff. There was a gentleman who works at NYU here in the computer department, and he teaches. And he originally was born in Germany. He came to the United States when he was about 19 years old. And he told us during the interview that when he was growing up, one of his favorite actors was Woody Allen. He loved Woody Allen films. And he talked about the Annie Hall film. and he talked about the voice of Woody Allen. And then he came to the United States, and he heard the real Woody Allen. He said, no. This guy's got this high, squeaky, duck-like voice. He said, that's not Woody Allen, because he was accustomed to this, baritone German voice doing Woody Allen. And so it was very, he laughed about it, but he said it was very kind of off-putting for him.
That is crazy. I'd like to. I wish I was raised to have Woody Allen with a deep baritone voice, because half the fun of Woody Allen is that he's just kind of unsure of himself and he's neurotic. But usually a deeper voice, like kind of portrays being confident and being more manly and sure of yourself. Like, so I wonder how that dialogue would. I want to see these films.
Well, you're going to see some of them, because we're gonna use a lot of material from India and Turkey and France and Germany and use the voices. And it's funny, as you said, you've seen the trailer for our film, Being George Clooney, on our website. And in it, you see a short passage of the movie Ocean's 11, and George Clooney is speaking French. Well, obviously, that's not George Clooney. It's the French voice of George Clooney. And so it's interesting. I mean, one of the things that there's a section that we are going to profile in our film about the cultural impact of American films on other countries. From everything from, the incorporation of Starbucks and McDonald's to skinny jeans and watches to, much more, kind of intense things. But it's like, how do we impact other cultures in Turkey and India and France, wherever, based upon our movies? And so there's a great section where these middle-aged gentlemen talk about growing up in the 50s and watching John Wayne Westerns. And so we have a short segment of the John Wayne film, The Searchers, which is a great Western. And it's John Wayne speaking French. And it's for an American audience, such as myself. I mean, I get a kick out of it every time I watch it, every time I listen to it, to see John Wayne speaking French or Robert De Niro speaking German. Or Clint Eastwood speaking Turkish. I mean, it's fascinating to me.
That'd be
so
amazing.
I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be informative, and I think people will really enjoy the movie.
A friend of mine, Dr. Pong Fong, went to Russia, and he brought me back a copy on DVD of the Bolshoy Lebowski. And it is the greatest thing. Like, I can't stop watching it. Like, anytime I put it on, because that movie by heart, so you don't even need to know what they're saying. And the voice acting is just superb on that film. Like Goodman, like the people, those, like it's even funnier. It's like watching a different movie.
Well, it's funny because in Russia, up until fairly recently, they would have, when they did dubbing in Russian studios, they would have one male voice and one female voice.
He said he went
for everybody.
He saw Fear and Loathing. Pong Fong saw Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas at a theater, and he said it was one person doing all the voices, and you could hear them turning the paper.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Well, Russia doesn't give a shit. Like, I mean,
they don't.
they'll take movies that are, like brand new out in the theater and put them on a 25 pack of films for like $10 and sell it at Best Buy. Like movies that are still in the theater,
Wow.
Like intellectual property doesn't mean anything over there.
Well, it's interesting, however, when you, like I said, I mean, one of the things we'll talk about in the film, and we've just discussed, is the financial impact of films. I mean, there are a lot of movies that are made in America. I'm sure you know many of them. There was a movie, John Carter. There was a movie, Battleship. Johnny Depp's The Lone Ranger. Didn't make a lot of money in the United States. They were considered to be and written about as flops here because they didn't break that $100 million mark, which seems to be the trademark. But they go abroad and they make a couple $100 million. And so they're considered by the studios to be great successes. So if you follow these statistics on Rentrack, which is a great way to do it, or in Variety, you see that a lot of these movies, which are not considered successes here, are very successful abroad, be it in Russia or China. Is a huge market. China is growing by leaps and bounds. Pretty soon, gentleman from Rentrack, who's featured in our film, Paul Durgarabedian, was talking about North America is the main box office in the world. But in not too long a time, China will be for all kinds of films. So,
wow.
So they'll not only have our national debt, but they'll have the biggest box office in the world.
Oh wow! Now, is there a difference? Is there a difference between Beijing films and Hong Kong films? Because I know that one is more kind of Americanized. It's not as censored.
You know, it used to be that way. I think that it's changing. I'm not really sure. I can't really speak to that. But it used to be very different.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, obviously, China has taken over Hong Kong. And so it's a different kind of world.
Oh, it's cutting. The Skype's cutting up a little bit.
Oh, okay. I can hear you fine here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. That sounds good.
Okay.
John, you got a question?
I got a weird question for you here. It says on IMDb, it says your estimated box office is 250,000. I know you haven't even released it yet, but what type of turnaround are you guys getting? Do you think you're going to make that much on it, or?
I don't know who put that figure down there.
Yeah, estimated.
It says, that's not budget. That's estimated box office
gross. Yeah, that's what it says on Being George Clooney IMDb.
Huh.
Well, we could actually do better than that. Nice. I think that there's a real, international market for this film. I mean, if you go to, I was surprised at how popular Hollywood films that are dubbed are in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, or in Italy, or in France, or in Turkey, or India. They're huge successes. I mean, we talked to the guy in France who's Frodo in The Lord of the Rings, Elijah Wood. We talked to the woman who plays Hermione, Emma Watson, in all the Harry Potter films.
That's not in George Clooney film, right?
No. Okay. I mean, we've expanded way out. I mean, we wanted to use one central kind of figure, but our film is about more than just George Clooney and George Clooney films. It's about the industry and the people that populate that industry. How did they get motivated or drawn to it? Why do they do it? The kind of family connection. There are a lot of families, especially in Italy, that just as you might be a ball player, a doctor, or a plumber here in the United States and pass that on to your kids, in Italy especially, they pass on dubbing. And so the father's a dubber and then becomes a dubbing director, and he passes it on to his sons and daughters, and they become involved in the dubbing industry. Wow. So there's a fascinating kind of culture that surrounds these people. And, it's like one of the questions I asked him was like, in the United States, people look upon you guys as it's nothing. You just sit down or you stand in front of a podium and you read some words on a page. And they got very offended by that. And they said, no. It takes real acting. And it really does. I mean, it's not, as they said, it's not karaoke. It's acting. And so they take great pride in what they do. And when they do it, and we've all talked about the Godzilla example. We've seen bad dubbing. And you know bad dubbing when you see it. When you see good dubbing, you don't even think about it. You don't even realize that it's background music that's really good, that moves the movie along, and it doesn't stand out. It's just good. And that's what these guys do.
Yeah, we've had a gentleman who does that for the on the show here. He does that for the movies when they put them on TV, and he has to go and do the voices for the, to change the words.
Right.
Like he did, like Josh Robert Thompson. He did, what was it? What was the movie with Robert Downey Jr. where he plays the black guy?
Yeah,
he couldn't.
The dude who's playing the dude.
Yeah,
Tropical Thunder.
Yeah, Tropical Thunder.
Yeah. And he was just talking about how he had to do 3 layers of impressions to get that one, Because he's I don't know if you know that guy. He does Jeff Peterson on Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. He's a good guy.
No, I don't, Steph. But
a lot of people
nobody
don't.
does.
Yeah, nobody knows who he is. He doesn't like that.
But we do have one more question.
I got one that I want to ask you real quick too. Before we get to our zinger, but what like you were talking about the culture of the American films in these other countries. Like we were just talking to Warren Rodwell the other day, he's Australian and he was like kidnapped by terrorists for 15 months. But he said that gun culture is pretty much what everybody takes away from like American culture from these films is guns, because according to him, which I wasn't aware of this, but a lot of countries aren't allowed the right to carry guns. So when they see everybody allowed to have these guns in movies, it turns into, he said that's what American culture looks like to the outside world. Do you think that's true? Did you notice that?
I think to some degree it is. If you look at the statistics and you talk to the people, like I said, Paul Durgarabedian, who runs Rent-Track, the American films that are most successful abroad, no matter what country you go to, are action films. The ones where there's a lot of guns, a lot of shoot 'em up, car chases, etc. Those are the ones that translate best into foreign cultures. Let's see. Paul Garbadian said, the international language of blowing up stuff is sort of this international thing that everyone gets. And so it's small films, Woody Allen films, thought-provoking films, whatever, documentaries don't translate as well. And one of the things I think that we might do differently is because we're talking about something that happens in their culture, in their country. It's something they watch on a regular basis and stuff. So, I think that there's definitely a cultural impact. I don't think that they're necessarily becoming more violent or becoming more gun-prone, but I think that those are the things that translate easily and well for those countries, and so that's why they're so popular.
That makes sense. I didn't realize that you were the director of a film that I've had in my Netflix QE for almost a year now. I've just been meaning to watch it, like that. The one you were talking about, was it Beyond the Shadows, or what was it called?
These Amazing Shadows.
Yeah, the one about the National Film Registry.
Yeah. It's a great.
I wish I would have watched it. Because I knew you were coming out. I didn't realize you had made that film as well.
Oh, you should definitely watch it. If you like film, and I think you do.
Oh yeah.
You'll love this movie. You'll find something to relate to, and you'll learn about film. And I mean, the whole statistics of the number of films that we've lost in this country through neglect or through destruction, intentional destruction. I mean, you think about the old days when, unlike today, where films have a continuing run. They run throughout the country, and then they run international, and then they'll bring them back, and then they'll have a DVD and a Blu-ray and whatever the next iteration is. 50 years ago, they didn't have that. And so they would go one run, wind up in Australia or Alaska, and they'd be thrown in a hole someplace because nobody cared about them.
Wow.
So it's an incredible loss, and so definitely I would highly recommend you and your audience go back and take a look.
It looks beautiful, man. Yeah, it looks educational and entertaining. But okay,
what's the name of that one more time?
These Amazing Shadows.
These Amazing Shadows. Check it out on Netflix.
Okay, here's the other. This is kind of a personal question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I try not to offend you when I ask this.
That's all right.
Because this was I really enjoyed talking to you. But I'd kill myself if I didn't ask this question. We're on the way I heard of you is we are on a radio network called the Radio Fubar Network, and some friends of ours, they turned us on to you, and because I guess they were really looking forward to interviewing you, and I guess you canceled on them at the very last minute. They were called the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks, and
God, I do not remember that. Are you sure that it was that did we talk, them and me?
He said that they added you. He believes that the reason why was because you added him on Skype, but he had been telling you that because I don't know. I get the vibe he's embarrassed by his name since they're called Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks. I think they wish they could have changed that at some point.
Yeah, he said when he first approached you, he said, "Yeah, the show's called WFOD," or he maybe even said Radio Fubar. But then when you found out that it was actually stand for Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks, that maybe you didn't want to be on the show, which everybody would understand.
No. Hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity when you're trying to get the word out and stuff.
Right.
No, I would not have canceled because of that and stuff. I'm not a prude. And no, I mean, I love being on your guys' show, and I've looked at some of your podcasts on your website and stuff. And no, I think that I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. It happens, you know.
Yeah, you said you were busy, and then he asked you, well, when would you like to reschedule? And you said, I'm busy forever.
Well, that definitely was not me and stuff. I'm wondering if I have a couple of producers that work on the movie, obviously, with me, and sometimes one or both of my producers will take care of these things and will intercede for me. I'll say I got this thing, and they'll write, and it's not like they're pretending to me, but they're acting on my behalf, and so maybe that's what happened, something like that. Tell the guy to call me back. I'll be happy to do the show.
All right. Oh, cool. So Mike Moore will finally get his interview on
absolutely
Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks. All right, you heard it here.
Yeah, you've got my website. I mean, my email address. To absolutely tell them to contact me.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah, they'll appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he was heartbroken. He really was, and he was like, "No hard feelings. I understand why the guy he wasn't talking bad or anything."
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, Paul.
Oh, Chris, thank you very much for having me on. You guys take care of yourself.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
I like that tone you put on there. I like that.
What?
I miss you. Bye-bye. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, crank up that type
Him
of voice.
saying bye bye
No,
or
you.
me? Oh.
You.
I think it's funny because they're like, hey, bye, Chris. And then when I'm like, bye, they're like, oh, hey, bye. Like they get like a different voice.
Yeah, they get the Sarah treatment.
They probably think you're 14 years old.
Oh, probably, I'm sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so now that was Paul Mariano, director of the upcoming film Being George Clooney,
BeingGeorgeClooney.com.
which will come out in 2015. You can see a trailer for that. Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks introduced us to him. I'm glad that there was some resolution there.
Yeah, man.
You swooped in and got the interview first? Like stealing a
Well,
prom
no.
date.
No.
Oh, no. I know. I just heard the story. I'm just saying.
Did you hear the...
You haven't heard
was
the real
here.
story.
Oh.
It was March.
Dun, dun,
It was
dun.
March that they had the interview set up for him, and he canceled like right before. Well, supposedly.
Aw.
Who knows? See, but I thought, because I forgot to ask him his age too. That was the other question I wanted to
Well,
ask
I'm
him.
sure you can find it on like Wikipedia or something.
Yeah, but
maybe-
Mike from WFOD kept saying that he was 70 years old, and I was like,
Maybe
I
he
don't
had
think
the
this
wrong-
guy. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
had the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But he gave us Paul Mariano's contact, right?
Yeah, we were like, hey, if we'll contact him, see if maybe he'll want to be on our show, and then we'll ask him why he canceled on you, and we did that. Just now we completed that. We've been sitting on this one for a while.
Yeah,
I'm
we were
psyched.
Yeah,
Like, I can't wait to watch that. I think that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
going to go to my Netflix, too, and put that in my queue.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
we talked to all sorts of cool people. Sarah, you need to come in more.
know. Tell
You
my boss
Did
that.
you watch Freeload?
No.
That's a
Daniel
really good
Skaggs documentary about the train riders. Oh, that was amazing.
We're gonna have him back. You'll have to watch that before we talk to him
Okay.
again.
Even I don't know if we can. Yeah, even Dale J. Gordon watched that one. I thought it was gone though. He gave us the screener, and then it just.
Oh, you can't watch it anymore.
That's what I thought. It said the password was incorrect, but maybe I got fat thumbs on my phone when I was typing it in because Dale said he watched it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now we're going to speak to. Are you got a call going?
Jessica.
I've been watching Cosmos on Netflix.
Oh,
By Neil deGrasse Tyson or something.
what's the
I know
format
that
of
name.
that? Is
Oh,
like
that
a-
guy.
Cosmos, like a learning about the.
Yeah, it's like the old Carl Sagan. Like
Right.
he did the whole like Cosmos. So then this guy's redoing it. It's actually really awesome.
Is it embarrassing that the only thing I know about Carl Sagan, the only time I've heard that in my life?
Hello?
Whoa.
Hello?
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
It's Jessica.
hi Jessica.
you have a very sultry voice.
No, I just smoked for too long.
Good to finally talk with you, Jessica.
Yeah, we've been wrapping it out, huh?
Yeah, doing some rapping online. Now we're rapping on the Chris Brake Show.
Yeah. So what is going? What is this? So you contacted us or put something on Twitter about my daily doodles,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all about you.
all about me.
Yeah, because I have this mental breakdown now. I know who you are,
Uh-oh.
what you suffer from.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
She's got
No.
a profile for
Analyze
you.
me.
Yeah.
No.
What do you get off of Chris's art? Do you think he's crazy?
No, just the opposite, actually. Yeah.
Completely
I think,
Yeah.
I'm completely sane. I'm
totally
completely
normal.
sane.
He's totally
no,
normal.
it would be, you're the opposite of insane, and that wouldn't be sane necessarily if you were looking on the dialectical of insane and the other
In the
side,
membrane.
In the membrane.
like in unfreakingly not sane. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I kind of
Hey,
do. But so you said you said his art is outsider art.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? What is outsider art?
Well, it's basically the art of counterculture. It's basically art, and it can be of like mental people, and I'm not saying you're mental, or criminals. Are you a criminal? Your gender, if you're a gay man, a criminal, and mental, you might have a problem.
So is it mainly like crazy people that do this stuff, or
Just am I qualified to answer that?
well, you seem to know a lot about it.
Well, I think don't they say that sane? What is it? Sane is knowing you're insane, and insane is thinking you're sane when you're not.
Oh.
That's my theory.
Deep.
Wow, that's,
Like if
that's
you
very-
think if you know that okay things are a little whack, I'm a little crazy, then you're kind of sane.
I heard insanity is like the definition is doing the same thing and expecting something different. Like,
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like smoking crack and thinking that you're going to get a heroin high. That would be insane.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Quite.
Yeah.
I think all those sound insane, no matter what you're expecting.
But you have fun.
Now, do you do outsider art, Jessica?
Do I? No, not like Chris does. Not the doodles. I write.
Yeah, we follow your blog online.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
There's some crazy stuff in there.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Like stories from insane asylum and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
It's very interesting.
Now you're okay, right? Like you're not gonna kill yourself, are you?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Oh my God. Did you really think that?
No, I just
no.
well,
oh my God.
Well, we had a fan before that did that. Like they used to call in and we talked to from time to time, like we're doing now. And she was in the insane asylum, and then she stopped calling because she had killed herself.
Well, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for her.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm on the upswing.
That's good.
That's
My
really
life.
good.
Actually, if you want to know a date, I got out of a state facility October 31st of 2004. So this would be my 10th year.
That is
Anniversary.
amazing.
Yeah, it's an
Congratulations.
Why'd they put you in there? Why were you in there?
Because I have problems with, like, I had OCD really bad, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't being kind to self.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Like
self-harm.
Yes. Self-mutilation.
Yeah, self-harm.
Yeah.
Like pull your hair out and stuff, or
Yeah,
Cutting.
that's trichomania.
Yeah.
put Q-tips in your ear?
Probably cutting.
No.
Like cutting.
I wish I did that more. No, cutting. I did that a long time ago. That's how do you say that? That's existential. That's boring now.
Oh, it's
like
not the trendy
It's
thing
like
to do.
an adolescent. That's an adolescent type thing. And
Yeah.
if you continue to do it once you're an adult, then I wouldn't even just say there's something wrong with you. I would just say that you might be kind of an idiot.
An idiot. Yeah. So what about your art? Are you going to tell me about it?
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. You were telling me about it. I'll tell you this though. Like I said on the Twitter, is you asked if I was happy with that title, that genre, and
Coupling.
you can't really accept it because if you do, or if I do, then that would change what I'm doing. It would make me start to try to do something intentionally on a different way instead of just naturally doing what I'm doing. So I'd be afraid to accept any sort of definition of genre because then it might become impure.
And that's really interesting because the word outsider art, that was actually coined in the 70s. Initially, it was called art brut. In 1940, and the brute, they didn't know how to, that's a French word. They didn't know how to switch it over to English. So they said it basically means spontaneous, expressive output of emotion. So all it is you're just doodling. It's a spontaneous output. I don't know if your emotions, but,
Like stream of
It's just-
consciousness drawing.
yeah, kind of, but
Yeah.
that would make me think of Freud, and I don't know. I don't like Freud. It's too late for Freud.
I'll be honest with you though. A few of those doodles, if you will, I got a whole bunch of them. Like I've got, I don't know, like a crate. I guess you'd say a crate full of books. I've got like 20 or 30 of these books, and what you're seeing so far is only from 2 books.
Do they evolve somehow, like that you noticed?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, I also have a lot of ink. I also have a lot of ink drawings and things that I've done on larger scales and portions on paper and, different paper and stuff. And I've also I got paintings as well, but where I'm only putting the doodles up as of now. But do they evolve? Probably. But I will warn you this, though, is most of those pictures you've seen, I believe I was on LSD when I was doodling those, which might give it that feeling of chaos and
No, I was
although
I was at ease.
the one with all the what was it called, All Together, I think is what we called it, with all the red noses.
Yeah.
I was sober during that one.
That's funny. Were you trying to look drunk with the red nose?
I don't know. That's just what I do. I have no idea. I've got some that look like blackface. Like I just I don't do it on purpose, but they end up looking kind of racist because you make a clown, and then if you make him anything but white, trying to be diverse, then all of a sudden your black clown looks like you're being racist, or it's some sort of blackface because it has big lips because it's a clown, and yeah, sometimes they get weird.
Well, that's okay, but you have to be okay with your weirdness. You got to be like, I'm down with my weirdness. I'm not racist.
I'm down with the clown. Oh, that one's going up.
Because I don't know. It's just anything outside the mainstream. Some people say it's dead. Outsider art's dead. Well, I'm sorry. It's not dead until we're all dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
40-ounce pimp.
What's that?
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, the 40-ounce pimp is coming on for the end of the show here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for coming on and showing an interest. Because it gets,
oh my God.
Yeah.
I get
please don't further cut yourself. That's psychologically disturbing.
Your picture's psychologically disturbing.
yeah.
She doesn't cut herself. She said
No.
No, she doesn't cut herself.
Not anymore.
But what would be the difference between cutting yourself and then getting tattoos?
Well, I got 3 yesterday.
Wow.
The one I tattooed on myself or whatever does feel a little bit like self-inflicting pain, I guess you could say. But like, I don't do it for like some mommy or daddy reason. It's just I really like fucking tattoos.
You tattoo yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's intense.
Wait, does he do it for...
But I hate when people hurt themselves or put themselves down.
I don't think she was putting herself down there.
I think we agree with you, 40. Yeah, that's nice of you to show concern.
I got a big heart. I care about people. She sounds like a very nice girl. And then I tried to call in a bunch of times. It wasn't working for fucking shit.
Sorry, man.
And that other guy was cool too. The guy that was talking about the George Clooney movie.
Right.
Yeah, he was nice too.
Please don't further cut yourself.
What is that? Who's got the radio going?
That's him.
Oh, it's 40.
Yeah.
Hey, 40-ounce pimp, turn yourself down. Turn off the station.
Jessica, have you gotten to hear any of 40 Ounce's music?
I gotta go to Facebook and turn that off.
Yeah, we've got the echo.
This is good time. This is good.
What kind of music does he play?
Oh, what kind of music?
It's like hip hop. She won't
can
hear
you
it.
hear me?
She won't hear it if you play it, John.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I went to his website and I listened to the You Ate a Cat thing, and I was like, nah. Meow. No.
Yeah, don't eat any kitties, please.
he already did.
He ate
Shut up.
He ate a cat's brain, but it was on a dare. Someone else dug it
No.
up.
Dude, I
That's
don't even
not
want to hear the
fucking true.
story. I
Oh,
don't
it's
want to
not
hear it.
true.
Please don't
I
tell
ate the
it.
tiniest piece of his fucking
Cat
brain,
brain?
and I threw it up within 30 seconds. I don't eat cats.
Right.
I'm not fucking Chinese.
Hey, 40. Hey, we're going to keep going for a second, but I do want to point out anyone who's listening on Radio Fubar that these shows do continue, but we get cut off for the Lotus Cast that is coming up. So in a minute, it will cut off, but you can go to chrisbriggshow.com and get it Monday morning, the rest of the episode. But yeah, 40. Sarah's a cat person. Like, she's got, like, a whole bunch of cats.
I do. Don't
Is that
tell me.
Spitfire Sarah?
Yeah.
Yay! Hi, 40.
Yeah, I've been meaning to meet you because I've been on a couple times now and stuff with Dale and shit, and I've been wanting to talk to the infamous Spitfire Sarah.
I am here before you.
Beforehand.
I usually call in prompt. I've been trying to call in since about, like, 8:15, and, like, it wasn't doing anything.
Huh.
We'll try and get that under control.
Yeah.
What's it called? Skype or whatever keeps trying to get me to give them money or something.
You sound pretty sober today, man.
Yeah, I've been watching the Halloween marathon, and I bought a case of Victory Harvest Ale, and it says wet hops, drink now, do not store. And I'm thinking, I can do that.
Yeah, I think that's what we got. I think we're naturally done here. Unless Jessica, do you have a story you want 40 to tell?
Yeah, tell me a story, 40.
Uncle 40 is going to tell a story.
One last story.
What do you want to know? I mean, there's so many of them. I just figured I figured I'd call you guys, and then tomorrow, I should probably get some candy in case any little kids fucking stop by. Like last year when they all stopped by, I didn't know what to do, so I just gave every one of them $1 and told them to get the fuck off my property.
Thank you.
And then, like, Saturday, I'm going to a Halloween party, which I guess I need to buy some shitty costume or just show up as myself, and they're probably not going to care. But to me, that's like celebrating New Year's Eve on New Year's Day, so that doesn't make that much sense.
Well, everybody's up on the fake blood now. Like everyone's all about, like it seems like, oh, I'm going to be a zombie, or I'll just put blood on my face. But really,
my blood can be real because I'll just like punch myself in the nose.
Oh, no self-harm. Don't
no self-harm. Remember?
I've further fractured my left foot skateboarding in the kitchen the other night.
Oh man, you just pick that scab and put a little bit up there. That'll work.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like this Spitfire Sarah sounds very beautiful. You look very beautiful today, Spitfire Sarah.
Why, thank you very much, 40.
I had to call in and say what's up. I love your guests. It's great. You guys do great interviews. I'm like happy to be a part of the show.
Aww.
We do got to make sure, like, we do got to get on top of my, like, the first time I called in was with that Google Mail or something, and that sounded like shit because Chris got pissed off because the dial tone like kept coming throughout the whole show.
Right.
And then I tried to call in on my phone. Does it work if I just call in from my regular like Verizon cell phone?
Only if you have, only if you have the Skype app on your phone.
Oh, well, everything's got to be through Skype?
Yeah, that way we can get multiple people on, and it sounds good, because otherwise it'll sound like you're coming through a cell phone.
Yeah. All right, well, like, I talked to John Rapp or whatever on here a lot and stuff, and you, so, like, we got to figure out how to keep my, like, Skype connection is the way it is now so everybody has the chance to talk.
Yeah, it sounds great, man.
Cool.
And I don't think Warren... you said you weren't making fun of him for being from Australia last time he was on, but I think that's the vibe he got.
Crikey.
You're asking the guy.
Oh my gosh.
You're asking an Australian man about kangaroos.
Well, I mean, why not?
Yeah, well, like, I'm interested with fucking kangaroos.
I think he's got he put a tribute up, like, on his website now on his Facebook. He says, this is Australia, and he's got, like, a whole bunch of memes of kangaroos. He's got, like...
Well, like, I'll tell you something. I bust people's balls, and all my friends know this and shit, and, like, I don't give a fuck about, like, a whole lot. All right, like, so I'm saying anybody that gets, like, so, like, personally offended or, like, butthurt, if you listen to, like, my records or hang out with me in real life, you're probably talking to, like, the wrong person, where I don't go out of my way to be, like, offensive, but maybe I have a slightly brasher, yeah, like he was talking about Americans, like, sense of humor or pain tolerance, where it's, like, I just think a lot of times people are like, oversensitive and need to check their fucking tampon.
I agree.
So I think you and Rodwell might have got off on the wrong foot, but I think we got you guys communicating.
It was fine. He was cool. Cool. But here's what my problem when I listen to a lot of the people that talk or whatever. It's like I treat even though I'm getting slightly more successful or whatever, I keep it like kind of on a Scrubs level, where I think a lot of your guests, and not to talk shit, and like, okay, like I'm sure they may make a lot more money and they're a lot nicer people, because all I care about is like getting drunk and like sticking it in. I'm saying, like, to me, some of the people I've been hearing is, like, cool. Some of the things that they've talked about are interesting. It's all interesting. All your great guests are at least interesting. I think some of them, to me, have been a little bit of know-it-alls. And I don't like... I don't like people. I don't like people that think that they're smarter and better and know more than everybody else on the fucking planet.
Hey, 40, hold up. Jessica's got a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you minded if there was a hole in a heartbeat, or was the heartbeat, or what?
What?
Huh? What happened?
Hole in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like, 'cause he likes putting something in and getting fucked up. So I was like, okay, put something in a hole in the heartbeat or a hole or.
Yeah, I think he meant his penis in a vagina.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I just wondered if the heartbeat was optional.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sensitive. I like to snuggle and stuff. Right now, it's like these Halloween movies have been on my TV for 3 straight days, and I've been writing all over myself with Sharpie markers and drinking this Harvest Ale shit, which is pretty good. And it says drink it now, do not store. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, I'm a pretty sensitive guy.
But 40 in the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah, I'm not a total asshole, but what guy doesn't want to get fucking drunk and high and fuck hot sluts?
But I think she's asking if the hot slut has to be alive.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, she does.
Good answer.
What now I'm a corpse fucker too?
You heard it here first.
So now I'm not only an ass. Now I'm only not a drunk asshole rock star, but now I fuck dead bodies on top of that.
Well, now we know that you do not, so that's good to know.
We're glad we cleared that up.
No, I don't have a problem with that Rodwell guy, and like I didn't get a chance to talk to the other guy when he was on, the Chris. What's his name? The Hollywood guy, Chris.
Paul Mariano.
No. But what? The Chris Clooney.
Oh, George Clooney.
Yeah, we had him on.
No, you didn't have Chris Clooney on, but he named his movie.
Right? The director. No, we just didn't. We didn't see you calling, but.
Well, it's like, I don't really watch that much TV or like play video games, and I don't really like to read. Usually it's like I go on like Facebook or YouTube, like you've noticed, and like I get fucked up all day and just show up and like perform and then like come home. Like I've never really been much of like I watch movies sometimes.
Well, yeah, no, you'll have to definitely check out Being George Clooney when it comes out. We haven't seen it either, so. But,
and then the Sodomaniac premieres tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, we've been trying to have Goggles on the show, but we haven't gotten a hold of him.
Anthony Catanese. All right, but we do have to go here because Sarah's got to leave.
Is Dale coming tomorrow for the premiere? Or
no, Sarah. What's up? Oh, no, Sarah, you can't just leave because we need you to do something after we get off the show.
I know.
And you're supposed to stay here till 10 o'clock. That's what you originally signed up for.
I never said 10
That's originally what you signed up for.
There was no signature anywhere.
That's what you signed up for. You said.
No signature.
We said, when
40,
can you do
tell
it?
him there was no signature.
All right, thank you guys so much. Jessica, 40.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, like I had a good time and stuff, and it was nice to finally get to talk to Sarah.
Yes, nice to talk
All right,
to you.
see you later, sir.
All right, we want to say thank you.
Yeah, we're saying thank you to somebody here. Darren Snyder at the 40, or Darren Snyder at Indian Tune, Frank at Radio Fubar, John G at the 405 Media Group, Kendall a Person at the Public Blogger.
I'm going to thank old Ron over there at the Radio Max Music, Jeremy at Couch Potato Nation, Mark at Tangent Bound Network, we got Jack at the Mix FM, and Suma Peter at Loudtown Online Radio in Africa. Thanks for carrying the show, you guys.
And I want to thank Spitfire Sarah for being here today.
Yay!
Yay, Johnny Aid!
And for sticking around to do this thing real quick that's only going to take less than 5 minutes to do.
Check it out.
Oh, what? Too late.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you play it. And I know this is recording. And I hope you play it. Okay, see you guys.